From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, I'm Stephen Uden, and welcome to Around Foxborough. We have another episode here as guest host for me that I'm very excited about and very happy to have been assigned to interview. It's a very interesting woman who's got a remarkable, interesting company and a way of looking at the world today. Her name is Kristie Raymond, and her company it's one word with an uppercase H and an uppercase K, and we'll put that on the screen for the viewers at home, but it's called HumanKind, which are two great words that go great together. Kristie, what a pleasure to meet you. We met a little before we started taping this show, but she's a real pleasure, very smart and interesting woman with a lot to talk about. Hi.
Hello.
Let's get the, if you will, brief description of what you do. I know you do casting and production, so she's in the media, from the helping people get into certain types of entertainment or information or advertising. Would you like to give a little quick overview of what you tell people in the elevator, as they say?
Sure. So
welcome, by the way.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm glad to be here. I'm super excited to talk
it's really nice to have
about
you here.
what we do.
It really is.
Thank you. So HumanKind Casting and Talent is a company that is focused on casting and bringing in inclusive casting and production practices into mainstream media, where it belongs. So in other words, not just including the typical folks you might see, let's say, in a scene at a restaurant, but thinking beyond the scope of what does our true landscape of humankind look like and representing that in mainstream advertising.
So are you talking about like a couple having breakfast at a booth, but also having an ADA or an adaptive talent, I think is the term of art you use? Person sitting there too and not being uncomfortable at the booth, you know, not like sometimes they're, you know, sort of not naturally there, right, with their appliances or whatever. How does that?
Or it's someone who's not even supposed to be in a wheelchair. It's an able-bodied actor or model in a traditional hospital transport chair, which does not represent that part of our disability community effectively, accurately, at all. And when we as producers and people producing those types of pictures do that, the folks that we are actually trying to connect with and say that we see you, we are dissing them completely, because that is wrong, right? It's really, there's some work that needs to be done on the end from the production and the creation of ideas that really represent that community in an accurate and an authentic way.
Yeah, I like that word, authentic, right? I mean, it's real world. What type of, could you give me, the fool in front of you, what does a producer do in HumanKind? What is producing and casting in a nutshell? Can you describe that for me, educate me?
I would absolutely love to. So on the casting side, so I am a partner for creative teams. Often it could be, let's say, something in-house, like a company like Hasbro. And I would be working with one of their brand teams to help cast the right type of children that they might be looking for a particular product. So instead of, in most casting cases, casting companies receive the descriptions, the casting specs, whether it's for a movie or for a commercial, pretty much already decided before that when the agency gets it. I try to get in a little earlier to be a part of that ideation to say, where can we put in inclusivity realistically? So if it was Hasbro and we're talking about children's toys, all children play with toys. So they should be represented equally.
So it sort of takes the myopia out and gets people thinking wider.
Widen the lens.
Is that right?
That's exactly it. It's a great phrase. We widen the lens. Who else can we represent in these photos? That really is part of our social landscape.
So to elaborate on the education which you just gave me, thank you. Casting isn't an agency? You're not an agent for these individuals or groups?
We partner with the client. So
Okay.
that's our client is the advertising agency or the creative team at an organization. We find those people. Sometimes they'll come from a modeling agency, or sometimes they'll come from our real people pool of talent that we have. We have a cast blast list, and people can sign up to hear about our casting notices.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can. You can go to our website and sign up. And we want to give opportunities to people because, again, it's about bringing new faces, bringing new opportunities, and bringing new energy into different projects. And so we often find that with some really great castings that we do. Again, if we're looking for instance, we're going to be looking for golfers coming up for a shoot. Okay. We have some real specifics. We have an age range, but we also have a handicap that they need to be a scratch player, which I don't know a lot about golf, but I'm going to find out quickly.
I could barely get the ball through the windmill at the mini golf course, so I'm off your list.
So that's what we do for casting. If I'm also doing production, so then what I'll do is I then take to the next level of coordinating the entire crew and the actual scheduling of the shoot. So if it's a 1 day or a 2 day or a 5 day.
Or near or far, if it's in Hawaii or Boston, Mass or whatever.
No matter where it is.
So this is an interesting form to me of casting. HumanKind is new, or when did you found this? And I'd love to know sort of where you came from and how you got here and sort of came up with this. I don't even know if the word for me, in my understanding, is inclusive. It's more like expansive.
Oh, I like that.
Because the people are already out there, right? You know? So can you help me with that? Or?
I would love to. So I launched HumanKind in January of 2021.
Okay.
And the initial mission was to include the historically excluded, which really covers,
there's the
that's
expansive,
the expansive,
inclusive, right? Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people have done a really great job, especially when we're talking about skin tones and ethnicities. We are seeing such beautiful variety in those photos. But what I really felt we were missing is that diversity from our disability community that is integrated in every part of our society, but very often not represented in any of our mainstream advertising.
So does the word adaptive?
Yeah, we call it adaptive talent.
Yeah, so could you expand on adaptive talent a little bit? That's an interesting new phrase, right?
Yes.
Not a fad phrase. It's a new way of. A lot of people haven't heard that. I was involved in adaptive sports for a while.
And I think that's where it's transitioned a little bit from. And I think it's a nice overreaching word because the disability community is enormous, right? We have a variety of disabilities from individuals with Down syndrome and other different cognitive diagnoses, or you have perhaps someone with a spinal cord injury that might have received that injury later in life, and now they are part of the disability community.
Right.
We've got people with cerebral palsy and learning the range of that from people who are able to walk and communicate very well to those that are in wheelchairs and are unable or are nonverbal. But all of them play key roles in our society and really want to be active members in our society, transitioning young adults into independence. And when they see themselves represented in places where they want to be, it really can change the way we see each other.
Where did you get this gift to be inspired to go this direction? Because you were in casting before, right?
Yes.
So something must have gone in your heart or your mind or whatever. Like, how did you get here? Like, you're special. This is interesting. I'm not pandering to you, right? This is beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I've been in the industry for quite a long time. I owned a modeling agency back in the 1990s, which is a very successful modeling agency.
Yeah. I've been rejected by many model agencies. Yeah.
I don't remember seeing you.
Yeah,
so.
right. See.
I then transitioned and opened a production company. I really wanted to be sort of that boots on the ground. Where was I sending the models all those years? What was that going to be like? And could I be a good, an added value to the community here? And I really felt that I could because I was able to see a lot of things from that talent agent perspective. in 2015, I actually went to work at Hasbro, and I think that is where I began.
Down in Rhode Island.
Yes.
Yep.
I grew up in North
With
Attleboro.
the big Mr. Potato Head out front.
Love that Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's always, when you grow up near there, it's like a dream to work there. And
Yeah.
I've been doing some work with a couple of the brands there, and I got hired to work in the photo studio. And I think it was there is where I started partnering with the Baby Alive brand team and this amazing nonprofit organization called Changing the Face of Beauty. So that was started in 2008 by a woman, her name is Katie Driscoll, and she is in Illinois. Her daughter Grace has Down syndrome, and Katie came from the advertising world, and she was so discouraged at how often her daughter was not represented anywhere in any advertising.
Right.
So she took it upon herself to create this organization, and the key part was to set up these photo shoots that would allow, it was primarily towards children, but to allow individuals with disabilities to come and participate in something that they would not ever normally have a chance to do.
Right.
A real photo shoot, hair and makeup, wardrobe, styling, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Screaming people behind the camera, the whole business.
Lights, music, the whole thing. I mean, really what so many of us dream about, right? Being
Yeah,
a model,
right,
being
right,
an actor,
right.
and really being able to provide this opportunity. So we partnered, the Baby Alive brand team and Changing the Face of Beauty partnered in 2017. And
I would love, if I could interrupt you for 1 second.
Yes.
I love the Changing the Face of Beauty and the melding of humankind's experience and talent. I hope we can put them up on our screen in post-production, if you don't mind, so that we can make sure that everybody knows who you are, because you can bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
So you got inspired with seeing it happen, and did you have an aha moment and go, you know what, darn it, I want to do this and focus on this, again, expansive or inclusive?
Yeah. I think that I was hopeful that other brands within the Hasbro umbrella would embrace the approach the same way that the one Baby Alive brand team did. And I guess maybe because I've had my own business, and when I want to make something happen, I make something happen. And when I didn't feel like it was happening as fast as I wanted to, and 2020 was such a crazy year, I think I just decided that year that it was time. The timing was right to sort of reintroduce this approach to a greater public than just the one organization. And I love them dearly. I love everybody at Hasbro still. They're great people, and they have great ideas, and they are inspirational. They are the ones that started it for me, and now taking that concept and being able to sit in a room with the folks from Staples and say, here's your ideas. You know, we're doing a shoot at...
Oh, so you are working with Staples.
I am, yeah.
Excellent.
So
cool.
we just did a shoot down at Wheaton College.
Okay.
And so I'm talking with the team about, you know, what does that cast look like? And I said, you know, I think what could really be nice is if we talked about some adaptive talent here, because young people who are in wheelchairs go to college.
Of course.
So why can't we include them in these wonderful college scenes? And they did. Amazing young man, he's from Walpole. He is awesome, and I hope he's just at the start of his career.
Wow.
I think he is going to do really well, and I've actually already introduced him to a traditional modeling agency because he's that good looking and he belongs there. So, you know, being able to partner with traditional agencies and merge adaptive talent into the mainstream is important.
We still have about 15 minutes, so you gave the example of sort of the genesis at Hasbro and then Staples. What other examples, if you can, that you'd like to talk about? I guess my question is, how receptive has the industry been to you with this philosophy or faith in bringing these people in?
Well, the people in my
or shining a light on them, to use a bad pun, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. People in my community, my immediate community, are so incredibly supportive. I have such amazing photographers, agents, reps, hair and makeup people who have jumped in and said, whenever you're doing a photo clinic for Changing the Face of Beauty, I'm in. I'm volunteering my time, right? But also, then they can become the voices in the room when I'm not there. So if a commercial lifestyle photographer is having a conversation with a client and has just done one of our awesome photo clinics, they can excitedly say, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to really dig into the talent here. what about somebody from the adaptive talent
So
community?
the industry is receptive.
Yes, I think they're receptive.
Yeah, I was going to say adaptive, but
No, they are receptive. It's just a matter, I think it is just a matter of continuing the conversation. And for many organizations, it has to be important to the C-suite executives. They have to have it be important to them. And then when they show that importance, it will trickle down. And so we try to talk to them as much as we can, getting in on conversations and attending conferences and attending panel discussions and providing steps in ways of inclusivity, forecasting, and production. That's no heavy lifting for their existing, process or the way they do business. It's just a matter of a bit more intention and a bit more focus.
do you think what you've done and you're doing has changed some of the way demographics are measured? Because normally it's like, 18 to 24-year-old people with, red curly hair and, live in Martha's Vineyard or whatever. Mm-hmm. Have you helped them expand what their view was before they thought this way, increasing the demographic, like, oh my God, we never thought we were going to hit this kind of reception with the final product?
Yes, I think so. I have to say, I don't get to hear that information as often as I'd like. We do try to connect with a client once we've done to see if we can get any feedback on sales or comments. Another great client that I work with is the Shark Ninja brand.
Oh, sure, up there in Needham, yeah.
And talk about really...
Just used my Shark vacuum this morning.
Oh, I just used my hair styler.
There you go.
But they take this very seriously, and we do inclusive castings. We bring in the products, because if they're claiming they have a universal product, is it truly universal?
Right.
So we've brought in some individuals from the deaf community to talk to them about if a product is your air fryer and a person is deaf and can't hear it when it's done, how can that item communicate to them? Oftentimes it's
so
apps
put in a flashing LED or
there's all sorts of information
Bluetooth
that they can share.
Technology, right?
But then they'll hire those individuals to be in the photos for
Remarkable.
their brochures, for some advertising. They really take it very seriously, and they're a North Star for me. They are super shining.
So we've got Hasbro, big name, Staples, big name, Shark Ninja, big name. And constantly changing, like Shark Ninja, they have to come out with products to stay afloat.
Absolutely.
Are you predominantly with your company New England based, or the Great 48, or how far out does your reach go, or does it depend on client to client?
It does depend client to client. We are based here in New England, and my track record here is again over 35 years, so I'm pretty well known here in this area. But honestly, with the way remote and Zoom and all these opportunities, we do cast nationwide. We have several clients that we cast with just in North Carolina, South Carolina. We just did some work in Pennsylvania. I don't have to go there, but we can be there in this virtual capacity.
The magic of the internet.
And so that's great, because those are clients that we've established relationships with, and they trust us, and they know that we can do this anywhere for them. And so it's very exciting.
That's great. And it allows sort of an income stream for people that might not have ever thought of going into, like as an actor, an adaptive, talented actor, never thought, I could never go into this business because of something that limits me,
well, they weren't very welcomed. They weren't very welcomed, and that's another part, is as we're creating these casting notices and other organizations are doing the same, really using language that invites people in, because they haven't been invited in, Steve. They've been excluded. So the problem is they don't think it's real. So they might be very, very skeptical of it, because most of the time, and I've read quite a few casting notices recently that were not mine, where the comment I got back from some people that I work with in the disability community was like, they only want me for my disability. And that was really hurtful. I thought, okay, so language, how we say these things, how we invite people in is really, really important as far as my community, other casting people, other producers. It's not just, go find someone in a wheelchair. It's like, no, there has to be more intention And again, that genuine
normalization.
Honesty. Yeah, not an anomaly.
Right,
Make it
normalization,
normal.
like, we all, you know.
Well, and unfortunately, we're stuck with some really bad stock photography that's out there.
Right.
I just posted on my LinkedIn today, a friend of mine who is a spinal cord injury, he shared with me this amazing picture of our Olympic para-athletes. Amazing. And then he showed...
astonishing.
Astonishing, right? Yeah. Then he showed 2 pictures from a stock house of wheelchair athletes. And both of the individuals were absolutely able-bodied people in a
pretending
stock
to race
hospital wheelchair.
Yeah.
So that's really important, and that we really recognize that. And I think sometimes my business runs at 100 miles an hour, right? Our production, you know, you're in television here, runs so fast. We have to stop. We have to stop and take a minute, because otherwise we're going to end up with an able-bodied person in that wheelchair again and again and again.
I hope this show gets sort of viralized, this particular episode, and you can use it to show to potential clients or mass mailings or something like that. I'm sure there's we're in a skyscraper here at Foxboro Cable Access, but somewhere we have a huge legal department. Yeah. But you could probably talk about getting that out on the internet, I'm sure. Awesome. What other things, I guess I was going to ask, are you the only person doing this right now, or do you have competition, or friends in California that you can refer to while you work here, or depending on your workload, that sort of thing? Or are you a new idea?
I think I am a new concept.
And changing the face of beauty.
Yeah, I think I am a new concept in our approach, because and other casting people certainly get hired to cast somebody with a disability as part of the cast and crew. I'm certainly not the only one doing that. However, there's nobody building an adaptive talent pool. And through our relationship with Changing the Face of Beauty, we have coordinated 12 photo clinics around New England with some amazing photographers, hair and makeup people, wardrobe. We have had upwards of 24 individuals for each clinic. And then what happens is these photos are portfolio worthy, and can be presented to clients for real work. And that's the kicker. That's the tie, right? It's one thing to find someone as a real person, but to really represent him as talent alongside a traditional model is where it needs to be, right? Not an anomaly. Normal. And through these clinics, I have just watched some amazing blossoming. I have found some amazing talent. What we also do, however, is we do the clinics, and then we offer opportunities to those individuals. So I produce shows for Rhode Island Fashion Week, New England Fashion Week, and Boston Fashion Week.
Really?
I do inclusive segments for each and every one of them. My Boston Fashion Week event this year in October will be completely inclusive, front of the house, back of the house, on the runway. We'll have shadowing opportunities for young adults who want to learn a little bit more about hair and makeup, wardrobing, music, event production. We'll have runway opportunities. No,
it's like you're a sun or a star. I mean, you're starting to attract, other planets into your gravitational pull, which, if I could do probably television's worst segue, you focus on mainstream media in your expertise. What is that? And then do you have thoughts or are going into things like Broadway stage shows or whatever? Right now your focus is mainstream media. What is that? TV commercials, or is it cop shows, or a little bit of everything?
That TV I'll leave over there, but I will keep the commercials. Ads, any photos that you see, any ads that any organization is putting together. That is mainstream.
Photography as well.
Photography, it's all digital now, right? Nobody takes pictures with a camera anymore and film, but there's a lot of digital photography, websites, social media ads, big place for a lot of people. There's also, there could be streaming. And then so I tend to focus there. I do speak with a lot of people in the theatrical world because we are trying to sort of bring those two worlds together. And I've worked with some great organizations here in Massachusetts, Open Door Theater in Acton.
Oh, really? The
Stepping
ODT,
Stone
yeah.
Theater.
Right.
And they're amazing. I've
Yeah.
come in and learned from them how they produce, what they do, the checklist that they put into play,
Yeah.
so that everyone
Well,
is
there's a lot
welcome.
of organics to this because, like, you never know who you're going to meet and who will join
Right.
up with you. We only have 3 or 4 minutes left, and I wish we had 30 or 40 minutes
Me
left
too.
because this is going well, at least from my opinion. What other things have I not asked that you wanted to talk about? And if I'm catching you off guard, then we can go to something else.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll just ask, you put food on the table this way, right? But do you need volunteers at your company, or do volunteer groups get born of the work that you're doing? Like, how does that work? So if you met somebody at the Open Door Theater who was, say, a costume maker,
Yeah.
right? And they have to, I have a friend that's costume manager over at a big movie studio out west. And they say, well, I can help you with that, but, I don't know if I want to get paid or I can't get paid, but you know how you need it. Do things like that work out for you?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Can
do,
you talk about that?
Yes,
or?
yes. So when I do
I didn't mean to throw you a curve
no.
there. I
When
hope
I do the
didn't.
clinics,
Yeah.
that's all volunteer. So photographers, hair and makeup people, wardrobe people that I have worked with over the past 35 years.
Oh, I thought they were getting paid.
I call in a lot of favors, and I appreciate those favors incredibly. But I'm hoping that I'm also educating those folks when they are in the room with their clients. But it also just expands our business, and really to give opportunities. I'll give you one story because I know we don't have a lot of time, but there's a young,
we got a couple minutes.
A young boy that came in to one of
Okay.
our clinics in Marlborough. He had autism.
Okay.
Very shy, did not want to leave mom's side. And we're doing photo shoots. It
Yeah, the
is
spectrum,
loud,
yeah.
it is crazy, there's
Right.
music, it is absolutely nuts. But he saw what the other kids were doing, and he got out there and he took some pictures, and they had an awesome day. About next week later, I sent the pictures to the mom, and she called me up and she said, "Do you have a minute? Can I talk to you?" And I was like, "Oh, is everything okay?" She said, "I showed the pictures to my son today," and he burst into tears. And I'm on the other
How
end
old
of the
was he?
7,
Okay,
and I'm on the
that
other
kid.
end of the phone going, "Oh gosh, this woman is this is bad." She said, "He looked at the pictures and said, 'I'm beautiful.'"
There you go.
She said, "We've been telling him he's beautiful his whole life, but he got the chance to see that in the photos we did at that clinic."
Yeah,
if he never models, it doesn't matter.
That's grace. Again, I mentioned that at the beginning.
The trajectory.
You have this, I don't know, I want to call it grace that brings things in. The kid's never seen outside of his own face.
Yeah. And he saw it, and it was so beautiful.
Did it charge him up?
Oh, it did. And Mom said a couple weeks later he was really integrating a little bit more in school, not quite as afraid.
Yeah.
Again, we haven't really talked again, but just those moments.
No, those neural pathways weren't there, and boom.
Yep.
You're doing the work of so many people and faiths and everything else. It's really, really beautiful. We're darn it out of time. Let's go back. Do your company name, and if there's a .com, we'll put that in.
Sure.
And if you want to add Changing the Face of Beauty, just tell us where you're located. Like, you're Boston based, or you're New York, or wherever on the planet Earth.
Well, today
and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. HumanKind Casting, we have offices in Boston and Worcester, but we work nationwide. Our website is You Are HumanKind, YOUARE, HumanKind.
Okay.
And working with Changing the Face of Beauty is changingthefaceofbeauty.org.
You got phone numbers? Or you'll find them on the website?
You'll find them on the website.
Good.
You want to sign up for our Cast Blast list? Find it
Okay.
on the website. Want to find out about our upcoming Changing the Face of Beauty clinics? You'll find it on the website.
You're something
Steve.
else, as
Thank
my
you
dad
so
would
much.
say.
Oh,
God rest his
thank
soul.
you.
Wow. I'm charged. I'm Steve Uden. This is Around Foxborough. I want to thank our friend Paul in the engineering room, our friends here at Foxboro Cable Access, our producer Jury Love. Thank you for putting up with me as a substitute. And I hope our last shot will be of your smiling face, Kristie Raymond with a K. And are you on Facebook?
Yes, Facebook at HumanKind Casting Plus Talent, and we're also on Instagram at HumanKind Casting.
We're going to scribble that down and make sure that we have it for post-production to put up online. Again,
thank you so much.
you're something
Thank
else.
you.
Yeah, you were great.